Imagine a country so small you could walk across it in under an hour. A place whose entire landmass could be swallowed whole by New York's Central Park with room to spare. This isn't a forgotten island. This is Monaco, the glittering playground. Yov billionaires, a global symbol of wealth and home to the most prestigious motor race on the planet. Once a year, its quiet streets transform into a roaring crucible of speed and risk for the Monaco Grand Prix, the undisputed crown jewel of motorsport. For a few days, the world's eyes are fixated on the Ferraris and Red Bulls navigating impossibly tight corners. But behind this facade of glamour and high-octane thrills lies a crisis of existential proportions. A problem so immense, it threatens the very future of this legendary principality. Monaco is bursting at the seams. It's the most densely populated country on Earth, a vertical city squeezed between the mountains of France and the vast Mediterranean Sea. With a population that has doubled in recent decades, every square inch is accounted for. There is simply no more room to build, no more space to grow. Hemmed in on all sides, with nowhere left to go, they faced a stark choice: stagnate or attempt the impossible. They chose the impossible. With its back against the wall, Monaco turned to the one frontier it had left, the sea itself. This is the incredible story of how a tiny nation spent over $2 billion to literally build new land out of the ocean, pioneering a method that could redefine how we live on a crowded planet. We are diving deep into one of the most audacious engineering projects on the planet. If you love stories of human ingenuity pushing the limits, make sure you're subscribed and have hit that notification bell. You won't want to miss how they pulled this off. Monaco's history is one of constant evolution. What we see today, this tiny sliver of coast along the French Riviera, is a fraction of its former self. In 1861, in a deal for sovereignty and cash, it ceded 95% of its territory to France. This single act defined its future, forcing it to become a nation built on maximizing minimal space. And for over a century, it succeeded spectacularly, becoming a magnet for the world's elite, drawn by its beauty, its security, and its famously favorable tax laws. But success created its own problem. More people demanded more homes, more offices, and more infrastructure. The only answer, time and again, was to fight the sea for more land. Over the decades, Monaco has grown its landmass by over 20% through reclamation. But its latest project, a new eco-district named Mareterra, is on another level entirely. This wasn't just about pouring concrete into the water. This was about creating 6 hectares of prime real estate in a way that respected, and even enhanced, the delicate marine environment. The challenge was monumental. The construction site was located directly between 2 protected marine reserves in waters teeming with life. The seabed was home to vast meadows of Posidonia oceanica, a protected species of seagrass often called the lungs of the Mediterranean. These underwater forests are ecological powerhouses, providing a critical habitat for thousands of species, preventing coastal erosion, and capturing enormous amounts of carbon from the atmosphere. To simply destroy them was not an option. It would have been an environmental catastrophe. So, before a single stone was laid, a delicate and unprecedented operation began. Teams of marine biologists and expert divers descended into the blue, tasked with saving the very soul of the sea here. They carefully relocated over 500 square meters of this vital seagrass, painstakingly moving entire sections of the seabed to a new, safe location. This technique, moving a living ecosystem with its soil intact, was a world first on this scale. A revolutionary act of conservation that proved land expansion and environmental protection could go hand in hand. With the ecosystem protected, the engineering marvel could begin. The foundation of this new land is a massive curved seawall, a protective belt built from 18 colossal concrete boxes called caissons. Each caisson is a hollow, watertight behemoth weighing a staggering 10,000 tons. They were constructed in Marseille, then towed by tugboats on an epic days-long journey across the open sea to Monaco. Once they arrived, they were positioned with millimeter precision and sunk onto a seabed that had been dredged clean down to the solid bedrock. These caissons form a fortress against the sea, a dam creating an empty basin ready to become new land. To contain the sediment and prevent pollution during this process, the entire worksite was shrouded by specially designed underwater anti-turbidity screens, like a giant silk curtain protecting the surrounding waters. Into this newly formed void, over 1.5 million tons of rock and sand were poured, raising the ground level from 50 meters below the waves to above the surface. But these caissons are more than just a wall. Their outer surfaces are textured with grooves and hollows, designed to encourage the growth of algae and corals, transforming this man-made structure into a vertical artificial reef, a new home for marine life. Above the water, Mareterra is a vision of the future. It is designed to be the greenest district in Monaco, a pedestrian-focused paradise of lush parks, shady promenades, and stunning architecture from some of the world's most renowned designers. It features a new marina, luxury residences, boutiques, and restaurants, all seamlessly integrated into the existing coastline. But what about the looming threat of climate change and rising sea levels? That's been engineered into the design. Every structure is built with the future in mind, positioned high above the current sea level. The marina's piers are dynamic, designed to move and adjust to changing water levels, ensuring the district remains safe from coastal flooding for a century to come. The project is an undeniable triumph. All the properties were sold long before it was even completed, proving the insatiable demand for a piece of the Monaco dream. But it raises a chilling question. What happens next? This 3% expansion, as monumental as it was, may not be enough for the long term. And here's the critical problem. This might be the last time Monaco can ever do this. The Reclamation at Mareterra reached a depth of 50 meters. Beyond this point, the Mediterranean seabed plunges dramatically into a deep canyon. Building any further out would be exponentially more difficult, astronomically expensive, and ecologically devastating. They have hit a literal wall at the bottom of the sea. So, if they can't build out, what can they do? The global population is projected to hit 10 billion in the coming decades, and Monaco's allure isn't fading. One answer might lie 5,000 miles away, with another tiny nation facing an even more urgent crisis. The Maldives, where 80% of the land is less than a meter above sea level, is building the city of the future, a floating city. Comprised of thousands of homes built on interconnected hexagonal platforms, this entire metropolis will be anchored to the seabed but float on the surface, rising and falling with the tide. It's a radical solution, but it shows a new way of thinking about living with water, rather than fighting against it. Could Monaco's future be a floating one? Perhaps. What about building up? Monaco already has skyscrapers, but the options are limited. The principality is built on the steep slope of a mountain, making the geology for super tall towers incredibly complex. Furthermore, a forest of skyscrapers would destroy the historic character and postcard views that are so integral to its identity. For now, Monaco can celebrate Mareterra, a project that defied the odds, blended luxury with sustainability, and set a new gold standard for land reclamation worldwide. It has bought the nation time, solving its space crisis for a generation. But as we look to a future on an ever more crowded planet, Monaco's struggle is a preview of a challenge we will all face. How do we grow? How do we innovate? How do we create space for humanity without destroying the planet in the process? Mareterra doesn't have all the answers, but it serves as a powerful testament to human ingenuity, a blueprint for survival written on the waves.